Again, I think let me start by really thanking the DSG for being here. Of course, Commissioner Almira, the Minister of Development Planning, our Special Envoy and fearless woman, Ms. Binta Diop, of course, my sister and colleague at the UNOAU, Her Excellency Ms. Hannah Tete, Pramela, the Minister of Education, all of you are just as special, and even more special that you're here tonight. And so I want to thank you. The reason I'm actually singling out the DSG and Binta is because they just came back from Somalia, and some of us were up at 5:30 in the morning trying to put them on a plane, which never took off until a while back. So just to give you a sense of how much she wanted to be here, she could have landed and just decided, you know, okay, I'm too tired, I cannot do this, but, you know, despite everything, you have come. And I think that is a testament to the fact that you do actually do this because it comes from your heart. And we thought that maybe as you see women in slightly difficult situations, you should also see women who are doing very well. And it's one thing to encourage the women that are down, but the women that are down can only go up because others are pulling them up. And we need to make sure that we continue also to encourage those that are pulling them up. So today we wanted to bring the women that have the responsibility of pulling up so that you can also talk to them and see, you know, we're never really there. And I think one of the reasons why we're doing this is we've launched something called the African Leadership Fund, which is really, as I said the other day, we're following you, so we're doing as you say. But as part of the fund, we decided to say, how can we help that group of women that is at the top pull the rest up? And so one of the initiatives under the African Leadership Network is an African Leadership Fund. The idea of the African Leadership Fund is really to say, when you look at the market today on the continent, we only have 6 women, African women in private equity, only 6, which means that every time that a woman sits to talk to somebody who is a money manager, who should give her money, 96% of the time, the woman is talking to a man, which essentially just means that, so imagine that you're a woman talking to a man and you say, I want to do a different kind of baby carrier or something. He doesn't even begin to get it. He's like, why isn't she talking to me about smallholder agriculture? Because in most of the men's brains, women are only good to do smallholder agriculture. And when we look at the data actually, including the development agencies, CDC, IFC, World Bank, and all of them, EIB, 60% of the funding goes to women in agriculture. So the development community, the financing community has already decided what they want us to do. And so if we ourselves cannot sit on the other side of the table and decide what we want to do and support each other, it's going to be very difficult to pull each other up. And so, you know, the young woman in Kenya who wants to start a pharmaceutical business and is building a pharmacy does not get funding. The young woman in Nigeria who is running hospitals now and has taken over hospitals and is running them so that they could be good does not get funding. The woman in Ethiopia who wants to do designer handbags, well, maybe handbags you're getting close enough to something they think is a woman's thing, but even then you don't get the funding. So I think what we're trying to do is say, let's get enough women on the other side of the table that can then begin to give women resources. The second problem that we have is that even when we fund women, we fund them up until about $2 million. And then after that, it's impossible. If you're a woman and you succeed in getting your business up to about a $2 billion mark of revenue, after that, to try to get to the 3 and the 4 and the 5 million, you either have to do a joint venture with a guy, and then the guy becomes the face of your business, or you have to sell it to the guy. And the next morning, the guy gets the money, and you can't. In the context of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, we want women to be able to expand and go to different countries and go to different geographies, but they can't do it if they cannot sort of hit that ceiling. I must say that this is not a problem only for African women. Actually, Indian women, their threshold is 5 million, but after 5 million, they can't go any higher. Latin American women, their threshold is about 3.5 million, and they can't get any. So it is a global gender issue. We're solving ours. We didn't know that this was a problem until we started trying to solve ours, and we started talking to others, and then we realized that women have glass ceilings in every continent, and collectively we must come together to understand how we can break those glass ceilings. So I think tonight is the beginning of that process. We're hoping that if we can put women, I say that I would like in a few years to have, I don't know how many of you know Tijan Tiam, How many people know Tijan Tiam? Tijan Tiam is the African Ivorian man who runs the largest private equity fund in the world. So essentially, he's an African. So already we have one African man that is doing it. I'm hoping that in 10 years we will have an African woman running the largest private equity firm in the world. And this is the beginning of that journey, is to say, how can we start building that process and going? So we're working on this fund. We are hoping that the DSG will come back to us in a few months. We're almost there to do the official launch. We have now a short list of the potential women that will be the first awardees of that. It was an internet competition. We launched it and we're running it through the internet and we're working through that process. But it's been a very educational experience to sort of understand what a woman has to do. And because to start a fund, essentially you have to raise resources, and so you know that. To raise resources, it means that you spend 1 year where you are not actually making an income yet, but you're going to tell people that you have a dream of something that may one day work, and somebody has to take a chance on you and somebody has to believe in you. So what we're deciding to do is take a chance on 10 young African women and say, you know, we're going to do all that fundraising for them, we're going to give them the back office, but also once we give them the resources, we're also asking them to invest at least 51% of those resources in women businesses, so that we do a sort of cascading. So it's women and fund management, but women investing in women, so that we can create a community also of women that are investing in women businesses. And that, you know, so again, the concept of pulling and following, we can get a few people that are pulling and following. So this is a little bit what the fund is about, but tonight is really about you all telling, I think, the DSG and the team here, what you do. What are some of the challenges? I think she has the opportunity normally to speak in front of the important people and can move and change policy. So I think some of these conversations can at least give her a sense of the good things. It's not only the difficult things, there's good things happening, maybe to also celebrate those. And we do need celebration every once in a while. So I think we can talk about some of that, but also then talk about some of the challenges. But once again, before I close, let me thank all of you for coming out and for having this conversation. And then again, of course, to the Minister, the DSG, and everybody on this distinguished table, thank you for being here with us.